We have a fun and special event happening at our homestead this week, so join me as I prepare for that, as well as cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for my family every day this week. I don't have every single day recorded in this video, but you will get a nice taste of our from-scratch summer recipes that we are cooking these days in our home. So let's get started. We were at the grocery store and my daughter saw a box of clams. And of course, she loves seashells and everything like that and said, let's get those clams. And at first I said no, and then I realized, why would I not get clams? We can definitely make clams tonight. So I am making a clam pasta. They are so easy to cook. We actually have them here in Washington State all over the place. One year we took a trip and just did clamming for the summertime. It was really great. To cook clams, you just can saute them in butter. So I added bone broth. You can also do white wine. I just didn't have any on hand. Didn't want to substitute it for red wine. So I did bone broth, and then I added some apple cider vinegar to give it the acidity. And of course, lemon. Basically, once they open up, they're done. I like to enjoy clams over pasta with a lot of butter and salt and Parmesan cheese. So butter, lemon, some white wine, or you could do bone broth and apple cider vinegar, some parsley or whatever fresh herbs you want to have on hand, and you have yourself a really, really nice, flavorful summer dinner. One of my favorite things to serve during the summertime is roasted or sauteed tomatoes. Here I am sauteing them in olive oil, and I like to sprinkle them with Kinder's The Blend seasoning. It is my favorite seasoning, especially for tomatoes, and I just like to drizzle the tomatoes with the tomato juice on top of the pasta. And in this case, we also had the clams with that butter, lemon, garlic, bone broth sauce, and those are just such good flavors. So the pasta with the clam juice and then the tomatoes and seasoning, and then I topped it with some fresh basil, and it was so good. Now we have a really nice tradition at our house between me and my husband of enjoying cookies in the evening time. So here I'm finishing up a batch of homemade einkorn cookies. These are the brown butter einkorn cookies that are on the blog, theduvallhomestead.com. I'll leave a link to them below. My favorite part about these cookies is I make the dough and then roll them into balls, like you'll see me do here, and then I add most of them to the freezer, and then my husband and I just take out a few every night to bake and eat fresh. I used to bake all my cookies all at one time, and then I'd keep them in a bag or something all week, and then, eventually they would just not taste as good, but we'd eat them anyway. But this method of keeping them in the freezer as cookie dough balls has totally changed our life, and it has made it so we have fresh cookies every night, and that is just the best. I was trying to get a real life clip of me tidying up for the evening, bringing some flowers and cookies down to my husband and I, shutting the shutters, maybe picking up a couple toys. We try to do this every night, but we were laughing really hard because my husband was trying to, quote, act normal, and it wasn't really working, and I kept telling him just to sit there and take a cookie, and it just got really silly. So, but basically this is what we do every night, and it's definitely one of the best parts of our day. I want to take a quick break from today's What We Eat in a Week video to talk about one of my favorite things, which is our organic mattress from Avocado. While I love cooking from scratch meals for my family, making sure I have enough time in the day to play with my kids and cook for them, that requires a lot of energy, and I find that when I have a good night's sleep, I can do that a lot better. The Avocado Organic Green Mattress was a purchase decision that we made several years ago, and we have been so happy ever since. We had spent a long time before that trying out so many mattresses, too many mattresses, more mattresses than I'd like to admit. The Avocado Organic Green Mattress is made with GOLS certified organic Dunlop latex using more than 95% certified organic material. It uses GOTS certified organic wool and cotton, and it is comfortable. It is firm, yet not too firm. The mattress arrives and is delivered straight into your bedroom. It's opened up, set down, and then the guys leave and you're ready to sleep on it. There is no smell whatsoever, which is a really important factor for us because many of these products are made with formaldehyde. There's an off-gassing period. I am a side sleeper and my husband is a back and tummy sleeper, and we both have found so much comfort in this organic mattress. Right now, Avocado is having a summer sale. If you have been thinking for a long time about making the purchase decision to invest in an organic mattress, now is a great time. I can tell you, we spent a lot more money on mattresses we did not like, and we wish we could have gotten that money back and just bought an organic one to begin with. This is going to last us such a long time, and we have really enjoyed it. If you are like me and want to make sure your family and children have organic meals to eat, you should make sure that they have an organic mattress too. So check out the Avocado Organic Green Mattress at my link below, and make sure you do that now while the summer sale is going on to save some money on it too. Today is going to be a very full day of cooking and baking. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow, and I'm going to bake her a vanilla cake with strawberry frosting. That's what she requested. So we're going to have a fun day tomorrow, but I'm going to prepare for it today. I'll make the cake today, and tomorrow I'll do something fun for her for breakfast to celebrate her birthday, and then we'll have a cake in the evening. I also have to cook 2 loaves of bread today. I'm doing a regular rustic sourdough loaf with regular flour, and then I'm doing my einkorn sourdough sandwich loaf, which is actually only 50% einkorn flour. I'm going to take you along as I do all of this today, and let's just hope I can get all of the birthday preparations done today. Birthdays are so fun, but they're always a little bit stressful because there's always a lot I want to do, and it just has to happen at the right time. I'm not worried about getting everything done. Everything has to happen very orderly, and it has to happen today, because if it doesn't, then it will not happen for tomorrow. So let's get started. One of my favorite things to do is bulk prep anything with sourdough in it, because if you're gonna get the sourdough starter out of the fridge and feed it, you might as well feed it a little extra. And then if you're gonna take the starter out of the jar and add flour and water and salt, you might as well get a second bowl and add some more flour, water, and salt, because most sourdough recipes, at least if they're bread recipes, are so similar: flour, water, salt. And then if you're doing a sandwich bread, you might be adding some butter and honey. But if you're gonna be doing the process, you might as well do it in multiple bowls. So I've been doing a lot of this. Taking a quick break while those are rising to go feed the chickens outside. This is our fermented chicken feed. I have a recipe for this on the blog. I'll link it below. And doing a little bit of tidying up as well. I try to just tidy up whenever I see the need. So I just straighten chairs out, fluff pillows whenever I can. So now that the 2 doughs are rising, I'm gonna be starting breakfast. I need an easy breakfast today, so I'm gonna go with the Dutch baby pancake. This is 3 eggs, 3/4 cup milk, and 3/4 cup einkorn flour. Then you add salt, maple syrup, and I like a dash of cinnamon. I serve this with fried eggs, and the whole meal is protein rich, delicious, and filling. I also had just 1 peach from the farmer's market left, so I just thought I'd cut that up and we can all enjoy that. We should be getting a lot of peaches soon from our farmers, so hopefully that is coming in the coming weeks. I know last year we were swimming in peaches. Now, I've read a comment that some people add more milk to their Dutch baby pancake to make it fluffier. I haven't tried it yet. This is what it looks like given my current recipe. We like that it's pretty light and airy, and it's not dense. It just makes for a very nice breakfast. I mean, I can't really describe it without you actually tasting it. But I have seen other recipes for puff pancakes, that kind of thing, that are thicker. Part of the fun with cooking for your family is experimentation, and you might read a recipe online that is really good for that person, and you might read another recipe for the same thing from a different person, and it could look and taste totally different. And what you cook for your family can be your own version of it. Some of the best cooking lessons I've learned in my journey of cooking have resulted because of either a mistake or a missing ingredient. So either I won't follow a recipe, I'll make a mistake, and then it turns out really well, or I don't have an ingredient, so I have to swap it out, and then it makes me think of a new recipe, and that also works out well. Now, we are gonna get ready for a special surprise, but before we do, I'm gonna prepare lunch ahead of time so that when we get home, it's ready to go. I'm making quick tacos with some Force of Nature ground venison, shredded cheese, and whipping up guacamole with avocado, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and lemon. So this will be ready to easily put together when we get back. For my daughter's birthday, I thought it'd be really nice to take her to pick her own flower bouquet. We have flowers in our yard, but not quite to the extent of this beautiful flower farm you see me picking flowers at. She absolutely loved it, and I did too. When we got home, we got the flowers in vases right away, and I had a lot of herbs that I could add to the flowers, which I always enjoy doing because it smells good. And then you can pick the herbs and add them to your own dishes while they're still good. These are pineapple sage leaves that I have from our backyard. We have a little bit of parsley, and we also have mint. I can't remember if I added it to these bouquets or not. And then you have the family, start your own family. Love you. So I cooked a taco meat on the stove, browned it, seasoned it and everything. So all I had to do was heat up the tortillas, add the meat, add the guac, and I used yogurt instead of sour cream and salsa and cheese, and a delicious lunch was made. I do enjoy celebrating birthdays. I don't think that you have to do anything extravagant for people. It's not even about gifts. I do like giving gifts, but it doesn't have to be an extravagant gift. It can be something homemade. I know my daughter, we did buy her some gifts, and some of them were more expensive than others. And some of her favorite things, I mean, I'm filming this voiceover a few days later, and she has forgotten about some of the really nice things, and the favorite things that she's currently playing with are the cheap things, like the coloring books and the crayons. And I'm like, we get those for you all the time. But it just goes to show that it's really, you know, giving a gift to people can be so simple, and it's really satisfying to be the giver of the gift. It's not even about receiving them. The reason we have gift giving in this world is because it feels good to give. Coming inside now to bake these loaves of bread. So what you're seeing here is the rustic, I call it a rustic loaf. It's basically just your traditional all-purpose flour bread loaf. It's bubbly and dry. The next loaf I'm gonna do is a sourdough sandwich loaf. This one has butter in it, as well as some olive oil and a little bit of sugar. It's a much more decadent loaf. It is half einkorn flour, and I baked it right before it over fermented. So you can see it's a little bit flat there because it had to sit and wait for the other loaf to bake, and it was sitting on the stove, which I should not have let it stay on the stove. I do have a problem with over fermenting dough in the summertime. So like I said, I'm trying to get ahead because the birthday is actually tomorrow, and I want to make sure that everything is done before tomorrow. So I'm wrapping a couple presents, and I have not gotten around to the cake yet. My plan was to make the cake dough this afternoon during this quiet time that was happening, but that did not happen. But I will make it in a bit. Okay, the dinner rush, the evening rush, it all flew by, and now I'm finally getting around to making the cake. So this is a sourdough cake. So all I'm gonna do right now is make the dough. To make anything sourdough, all you have to do is use sourdough starter, and then however much flour is in the recipe, you want that flour to be exposed to your sourdough so that it can ferment overnight or however long you need it to ferment. If you have to add any flour the next day before baking, then it's no longer a sourdough product, unless you're just gonna call it a sourdough discard product, in which case it's not long fermented. It can still use up discard, which is fine. But this cake is going to actually be long fermented, which means none of the flour in the cake will be fresh. It will all be fermented, if that makes sense. So this morning was my daughter's birthday, and we wanted to make a nice breakfast. I sliced up my sourdough sandwich bread, and I'm making French toast. One of my personal favorites, and my daughter's as well. You're slamming the cupboard. Careful, don't get your finger in it. I crack 3 eggs in a 9 by 12 pan, add some milk or heavy cream, I prefer heavy cream, some salt, some maple syrup, some cinnamon, and get those going on the skillet with some butter, and of course I like to add chocolate chips. Now, my daughter caught wind that we were doing a birthday celebration for her tonight, and she wanted to be a part of all of the cake baking process. And I thought that was a great idea. So we are making 2 strawberry products here. So the first one is a strawberry filling. So this is going to be a double layer cake with a strawberry filling. And then the next one is going to be strawberry frosting. And we'd like it to be pink. So we're using the strawberries as coloring for the frosting. I'm going outside to pick some more pineapple sage leaves for my dinner tonight, because as this cake is being prepared, I'm also thinking about dinner. I'm going to get a 9x12 pan out again and cut up some sweet potato, onions, and garlic, season all of it with my favorite Kinder seasoning, add some bone broth, add a whole chicken. Gonna stuff that with the pineapple sage and the lemon, drizzle the whole thing with olive oil, salt, and some more seasoning. Bake it at 360 or so for about an hour and a half. This is one of the meals we make every single week, no matter what. It's delicious, it's healthy, and we get a little bit of leftovers. However, the leftovers we're getting are less and less each week as our kids are eating more and more, which I love. We were really lucky this day to have some help. We had some of our neighbor friends over, and they were helping with the cake preparation, which I really appreciated. I know that there are lots of cakes at the store, and you can get fancy ones with characters and designs and writing on them, but I just am not tempted to buy those at all. I really want to always bake my own cakes for birthdays. Now, it's one thing if you're serving to 20 people at a party or more, but we actually did have a little kid party a few days after this. This was actually her real birth date, and then this was on a Thursday, and then we had a little kid party on a Sunday, and I made sourdough cupcakes for that as well. So unless there's too many kids for me to bake for, I'm gonna bake a cake or cupcakes. Because the kids could not wait to get to the cake, I had to get this dinner served quickly. What I like to do with this chicken is I cut up my rustic sourdough loaf. Now, this does not work as well with the sourdough sandwich bread. We have decided that as a family because it's too moist. The rustic loaf is better because it's more dry. And I roast the bread cubes like this, and then I dip them in the chicken sauce, and it's a beautiful and wonderful side dish. So there you have it, our sourdough cake with strawberry filling and strawberry frosting. Today I need a really quick lunch plan because we're gonna go outside and we wanna come back and have lunch ready. This is definitely a pattern with all of the meals that we seem to be having these days. So I'm gonna get a roast in the oven in the morning. I haven't done a roast since the winter time. It feels strange because in the summer we just do so much a la carte food. We don't do a lot of roasting except for the chicken, of course, but this is a beef roast and I'm just throwing it in the oven by itself with bone broth. No vegetables, basically hardly any seasoning at all, and I'm just gonna let that roast while we go out for the day. Another thing I wanna get done right now because I have a little bit of extra time is I'm gonna be making some pesto. I have some basil that's gonna go bad soon, and I wanna get it used before it goes bad. I also have mint and the pineapple sage, so I went and cut some more of that pineapple sage, threw it in here with mint. So this is a basil, mint, sage pesto. Added some cashews, Parmesan cheese, and olive oil, salt, and lime to this, and it was incredible. I made a dinner a few nights after this, or maybe the next day, with salmon and pasta and then we served the pesto with that. And I did not get it on video, but I did record that exact same dinner, I think in my last video, or maybe it was 2 videos ago. So if you want to see the salmon pasta pesto dish, take a look at the prior video or 2 videos ago. So anyway, back to the lunch. So this turned out really well. I slightly overcooked the meat because we were gone a while, but we came back, I shredded the beef up, and I'm recreating a sloppy joe in a very different way than you normally do. But I'm taking the shredded meat, I'm adding ketchup, cocoa aminos, garlic and onion powder, salt and pepper, stirring it together, and then throwing it on a toasted hamburger bun with some pickles. Now this is super simple. We could be adding a lot more to it, but it really did the trick and it was very easy for me to prepare. Well, thank you so much for watching this video and getting some inspiration for your summer cooking. If you're brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Every week I post a new video on farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living. Don't forget to check out avocado mattresses at my link below. Thank you so much for stopping by the Duvall Homestead.